Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sledgehammers in the Office podcast, where we celebrate the heavy hitters on the job site and in the office. Today, we have an episode with three guys that we're following along a little bit in their journey to build. We've got Teich, who is the owner of a real estate company where he manages their rentals, flipping homes, and he also carries a real estate license. So we describe him as doing everything real estate. We've got Alex von Reich, who is the owner of Control Analytics. He's going to be our data and AI expert, keeping us updated on the new developments in the industry. And then I'm Thaddeus, Klaus, the owner of a general contracting company focusing on residential remodels here in Arizona. Last year doing $850,000 in projects. So we've got a full docket tonight. I should actually say 3/4 of a docket tonight because my goal is to cut it a little bit shorter because we've got some stuff that we got to talk about privately after the podcast. We're working on AI stuff, so that'll probably come up in a couple months and we'll explain everything that we did. But anyways, we're going to catch up with the boys. We got a business segment, short company thoughts, and then we're going to sign off, and then we'll see you guys back in March. So, boys, what have you been up to?
Been sick. Sound like an old smoker over here. Yeah, I survived. The kids, well, my wife got sick twice. Then my kids finally slowly one after another got it, and then I was doing so good, and then I felt the sore throat on Friday. I was like, nope, not gonna do it. I'm gonna do vitamin C, got the electrolytes. It got me. So here I am.
I was up last night with my son, and he was coughing and whatnot. So at one point I think it was a couple points, he turned and like just coughed directly in my face. I'm like, nailed it, buddy. Great job.
Love it.
Yeah, my daughter's been sick too. I'm on the bandwagon.
There you
Everyone's sick.
Yeah. I would say it's something in Arizona, but Alex is in Wisconsin or wherever he's at.
Wisconsin, I like it.
Yep. So
we had our Q1 to Q4 birthdays, big birthday party this past couple weeks. I have a big family. There's like 3 siblings, 2 parents, 10 grandkids now. So there'd be a birthday almost every other week. So we do quarterly birthdays. So we had a big birthday party for like 6 people.
That's a good way
weeks ago. And I think it was 6 people. In January, February, December. So that was our big get together.
Goodness.
My family, like the extended family with cousins, at a certain point, we just gave up. And it's like, you don't even get your cousins' gifts anymore. Family.
Just demoralized, given up.
Fair enough.
There's 17 or 19 grandkids on my dad's side of the family. So it's just like, between that, aunts, uncles, parents, it's like, you're buying gifts every 2 weeks.
Many.
Yeah.
Just do away with them. That's smart. We'll probably get there.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. Well, I had a really fun month. I went to the dermatologist to get a mole removed, so now I've got stitches in the back of my neck.
Did they just do a really bad job, or do you just have a huge mole?
No, it's the second one I've had done, and it's about the same. They leave you with about 4 stitches. So.
What the heck? Dang. Is it the like dissolvable stitches that you don't have to worry about? They just come out on their own?
No, there's some that are dissolvable, and then there's some that they've got 4 real ones back there.
Oh, wow.
So you have to go back and they have to cut the stitches, or can you remove it yourself?
I just have my wife do it.
Nice. Or I guess she is a medical professional, so that helps.
Yeah. I think I'd still say you could probably have your wives look it up on YouTube and it's scissors, then just pulling it out. It's a weird sensation sometimes, but that's it.
Just take a kitchen knife.
Cancerous? No, just a mole.
So what was it?
Let's say so.
You gotta wear your sunscreen, man.
About 9 months ago, went to the dermatologist because my wife made me. And they did like just a skin check. And they looked at them and they're like, most of them are good, but we're going to biopsy 2 of them and check them. We sent them away for results and they're like, they're not cancerous now, but we should take them. And I was like, oh, okay. And one of them was on my back, and so they could do that one a lot easier than the one on my neck. So they had to do it in 2 different stages. So now I got the one on my neck done.
There you go.
It's hilarious when they do it because the first time, the nurse practitioner or doctor or whatever, it was like, all right, so for the next 2 weeks while you have your stitches, just try and not get it wet in the shower, and you're not allowed to lift anything over 20 pounds. I sit there and immediately just go, that's not going to happen, and just stare at her. And she's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I've got work. And she's like, okay, yeah, I could write you a doctor's note. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I own the company. And so she was just kind of like, do your best. And that's how we left it.
I bet your son weighs over 20 pounds too.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. Daddy can't lift you. Go figure it out.
Guess I can't watch them. Sorry.
Yeah, essentially turned into an invalid for 2 weeks. I was like, that's not gonna happen.
You were in bed for 2 weeks. That's too bad.
Yeah.
I would have brought you some hot soup. I would have known.
Yeah, I violated that so quickly.
Immediately just goes, brings a 20-pound dumbbell in front of them.
Well, and I asked them, well, okay, so the first time it happened, I was being pretty good about it, like trying to make sure I wasn't going to stretch that area of my back if I was lifting anything. But then we had a job that I had to crawl in an attic and maneuver in an attic. And it was literally just had this moment of, if the stitches tear, the stitches tear, and we're just going to get the job done and worry about it later. But didn't happen. So
there you go.
All good.
Yeah.
Gotta get the job done. Put that on the resume.
Yeah.
We'll get the job done. Anyway.
We'll put body at
risk.
Yeah.
No. Cool. Other than that, this month we had a date night. We're not the best at keeping regular dates, so we did a hike and then went to Cheesecake Factory together and just had some time together. So that was good.
Heck yeah.
It's fun.
Is Cheesecake Factory your go-to?
No, it's the first time we've been since our first date.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Yeah. Just as you remember?
Different location, different meal, so not at all.
Not at all. Okay. Fun.
Oh, goodness.
What else?
Not a whole lot on my end. Pretty quiet.
Yeah. Oh, I tried out a golf simulator for the first time. I've seen them all over the place. I've always wanted to try them out, and this experience was really crappy. Basically, they're like, "Oh yeah, we got clubs," and so everyone in our group had been told we have clubs. We didn't bring our own clubs, and when I got there, it was like you could go to Craigslist and get a free set of clubs that were better than the clubs they had there for you to use. It was like 3 3-irons, 4 8-irons, and like a kid's putter. That was it.
Wow.
So that was terrible. And then not only was that terrible, but the thing just did not feel super accurate. Not that I'm a great golfer, but I know that if I like slam the crap out of it and it's going straight, it probably goes more than 12 yards. At least it does when I'm at the driving range. So I was like, we also, it had other game modes too. So you could do like a football thing, a soccer thing, and the soccer thing was okay. The football thing was terrible in terms of like, you would throw it up and it would always just throw it at the ground. So it was just like, did we just get a really bad thing? But the people next to us were having similar difficulties. So we're just like, maybe this thing just sucks. Maybe, and I'm not saying that about all simulators, but the particular place we went to might have just sucked. So
yeah, I know there's simulators that range from cheap up to like you could afford a house. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I always, when I was in Phoenix, I always went to the Bel Air golf course, and their driving range has like the same technology they use at Top Golf, and you just pay like $12 for 100 odd balls or whatever, and it's fairly accurate, and you can play little games and stuff, like you can play different courses. I mean, you can't putt obviously, but other than that, it's a pretty cool experience, and especially
You can putt if you're brave enough.
I mean, you can putt if you're brave enough, but you're just wasting the ball. It just drops right off in there.
No. You gotta go out there.
Oh, yeah, no. The only
By the
time.
way, happy Groundhog Day.
Oh yeah, what did the groundhog say? I always forget about Groundhog Day.
More winter or no?
More winter.
Really?
Damn it.
Well, 81 doesn't feel like winter, but
It hasn't been above freezing for more than 4 weeks here.
Really?
Yes.
That's surprising.
28 is the warmest it's been in 3 weeks. So I'm cold and I want to go outside. I would like to go on a walk, please.
Yeah.
So I do miss that.
Be brave. Just go outside.
Oh, I did. We went on a walk yesterday with like heavy coats on and everything, and it's fine until the wind blows, and then you're like, "This sucks."
Until you slip on the sidewalk.
There's no sidewalk. Everyone walks out here. It's like 20 degrees out. People are just heavy coats. Got their dog. Dogs got boots on. Sometimes.
Dogs have boots.
Sometimes I don't know. Their paws get cold because it's like they're doing a little dance.
Yeah, just like Arizona, their paws get hot.
Fun fact: negative 40s is when trees start exploding because the sap freezes, and so this starts cracking. It's super loud. I'd never heard of that before until it hit negative 40. And then I was like, why am I here? And then it got warmer. Now I'm fine. But
did any trees explode?
Not around us, thankfully, but we heard of some neighbors that had dealt with it, and there's like giant shards of bark just kind of like falling off. It doesn't they call it exploding. I think it's a little overhyped, but it is loud. Sounds like lightning almost.
I'd call that exploding.
His hair's gotten so long now. Are you gonna do a mullet, or does he already have a mullet?
He kind of already has a mullet. We trimmed his hair.
God's hairstyle right there is mullet. We're born to have mullets.
Apparently, I trim it when family starts making comments about it, particularly one person who I won't name.
I know exactly who it is.
It's a public forum.
Yeah.
Well, don't do what I did, which is get fed up and just do it yourself without telling your wife. Yeah, I didn't even do much. I just like trimmed over the ears because I didn't like the hair muffs. I thought it looked weird. So I did that, and my wife lost it. It was even funnier because a buddy of mine, he encouraged me to do it, and his wife got more mad at him than my wife got at me for telling me to cut his hair.
It's hair.
It'll grow.
It grows back.
Usually.
Good luck telling that to a new mother. It's not a battle I recommend any man engages in.
Just do it if you're bored.
You're like, I haven't stirred up enough today. Let's do this.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of buttons you got to push.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of your job to annoy your wife every now and then. If you haven't done that, you're not doing your job as a husband, right?
Yeah.
God, I was like,
yeah. Go ahead, man. Oh, that's funny.
Everyone's gonna be like, "There's one guy with a happy marriage and two guys with an exciting marriage."
At least
an eventful one.
Yeah. All right. Before we get into the business part of the podcast, we got to talk about a shortage that we're experiencing right now. I went to the store today. Boys, there were no half gallons of Shamrock Farms chocolate milk.
That is surprising.
There was 1 quart left.
Wow.
Are you okay? Are you doing all right?
Yeah, because I got the last one.
Luckily, 2 quarts make a.
Yeah,
but there was one left.
Oh.
God, I wasn't ready for that.
He
wasn't ready. It was so. Oh, I got the best burn right here.
Okay.
So, I just want to. This is more of a PSA than an ad read right now. Like how we were stocking up on toilet paper in 2020. If you hit a store that has Shamrock Farms chocolate milk right now, I'd probably recommend just buying the whole section out because you don't know what kind of rampage is going to come behind you if there's any large groups of people that are going to be upset about anything, and that's their way to fuel up before they go out or anything like. You just never know. So just buy out entire sections of Shamrock Farms chocolate milk.
That Thaddeus is trying to artificially inflate the chocolate milk market.
Not yet.
Gold and silver. He's trying to pump it up.
Until I have profit sharing, I'm not inflating the price of this at all. This needs to stay nice and low so that I can just dump my money into it and hoard it and sit on it like a dragon with the treasure.
I think we're gonna find out like 10 years later that you've been a shareholder of Shamrock Farms this whole time.
I hope
he's holding a lot inside him right now. He's made up of half Shamrock Farms.
There we go. I knew it.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into the business side. I've got my little buddy with me, so if I need to take a break, I might hand it off to one of the guys. But we're going to start with our action steps from last month, which was to start the next step of our cold outreach campaign. And I'm actually really happy with how that went. We were able to go back, reach out to some of the designers we were talking to on Instagram, get 15 designers that said, hey, here's our email. We want to hear about it. We had one designer who read our email and said, hey, let's set up a Zoom. Would love to talk. We had one designer that emailed back and said, hey, this was great. I just sent it to my whole team. So I was really happy by those results. So we're going to keep going with that. We've got some plans for the next emails that we're going to send that are going to be more about pricing. But as far as the first go around on that, I'm really happy with the results and the response from it. So we're going to use that same email or a similar email for the architects, realtors, and I'm going back and forth if I want to just open that information up to the world for the subcontractors, or if I want to make it a little bit harder for everyone to find rather than saying, here, look what I figured out. But I've got a couple months to figure that out. So action steps going into next month. There have been a couple estimates that we've lost, some more recently, and I've got 3 in mind that I was able to kind of get feedback on or numbers back from the client, or it's the feedback in the numbers. So I had one that I even submitted. It was back in August of 2024. And there was a master bathroom remodel. And then there's a project in Buckeye. Connor, are you doing all right over there?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
I can't see, but you were just moving around. And I feel like there's so much noise.
We're good now.
But I was able, the designer ended up sharing with me the estimate of the guy who did the project for the 2024 project. And I was very interested in their estimate. And she gave me back some info about the contractor, saying that he wasn't great with his follow-through communication, stuff like that. His price was cheaper, and that's why they went with him. But then also looking at his estimate, there were things on there that were missing from the scope of work that was supposed to be there. There was stuff that wasn't apples to apples with mine on the line items. Yes, I was a little bit more expensive, but I think in the end it kind of was like, there's a reason why. The cherry on top that I thought was hilarious was there's no ROC number written on his sheet, and I'm pretty sure he is a licensed contractor. But the email, or I'm sorry, the website address that they have on the estimate, you can go click on it. Connor, we can like hear you just type.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But the website they had on there, I went to go find the link and it was completely disconnected. Like it doesn't appear. So I'm like, either something happened or they're not handling that side of the business. I don't know.
How are they getting work then? Is it just cheaper?
It's probably pricing and word of mouth. So I don't know. And I would assume it's got to be price. Like we have a premium pricing, but it's because we offer a premium product. Like the next one I was going to compare it to was the master bathroom project that we bid recently. And it was on a post-tension slab. And so I told them like, hey, we just did one project on a post-tension slab. They told me they had 4 other contractors bid it, that their cost, their estimates ranged between $38,000 and $45,000. My estimate was $75,000. When I looked at my cost to do the project, it was more expensive than their cost to the customer. Now, I didn't get to see what exactly was their scope, but I know it ain't apples to apples. It's not the same thing. And then same thing with our Buckeye project. I was told that we were a couple of line items, we were a lot heavier than other people, one of them being cabinets. And some of us, the contractors that bid the same cabinet line or cabinet manufacturer, which means they didn't bid the same line that we did because we were transparent and open book saying on this project will be cost plus. So unless that person was doing cabinets at cost, they were doing the cheaper line, which didn't have the color scheme that the customer wanted. Now, this is a long kind of tangent for me to say we've been losing estimates, and I think it's been frustrating to me because I feel like in some cases we shouldn't be losing them. Part of that is now looking ahead. How do we fix this? Is going to be trying to set up a sales motion for how do we start from the beginning with a lead and walk them through and communicate to them, hey, here's why our price is going to be premium. And here's what's included. Here's what most people miss when they compare ours apples to apples. So it's we're going to do a couple things to try and set it from the jump that people know, okay, we're a premium contractor. So there's going to be, the price tag is going to be a little higher. If that is not what that customer needs, then let us know up front so that we can say absolutely. And then we can save a little bit of our time. And then on the other side, we're going to try and win some of these estimates that other people are getting when I'm looking at it going like, he's not including everything, or he's cheating it and he's gonna nail you on the back end, which isn't good. So it's just going to be really trying to set up that sales motion and clear up that communication. So that's going to be the big thing that we do, trying to set up that process. So
I keep coming back to $100 million offers.
By Alex Hormozi, our favorite author ever.
But yeah. Our fanboy. This is actually the fanboy podcast just for Alex Hormozi. But is there something like a guarantee or something in there that you can guarantee that most of these guys can't along those lines? Because I feel like with a lot of that, like you are ultimately going to be way more upfront and have way less. Even if stuff goes wrong, you're going to have way less change orders than these guys are, and it's going to feel shittier for them in the back half, but they're going to feel stuck because they've already spent money and signed the contract.
The one thing that I have thought of and it's funny you say that because I actually started revisiting the offers book because of all this, was if I did a guarantee based on schedule. Because that's a big one where I feel like guys miss, and I feel like we're actually pretty good at hitting our schedule. So yeah, like the only other thing would be is like, hey, we can guarantee that like change orders are at cost or something like that. But it's like that gets a little weird with how that would get implemented, stuff like that. So I think the bulk of it would come down to the framing up front and possibly some of trying to condense some of that. One of the other things was, and this is a Hormozi thing, but creating a VSL or video sales letter so that we set up the, like when we have the way that we would go from first phone call to estimate is we get the phone call, talk about their scope. I ask for their address and email address so I can get on their calendar. So then it's immediately they'll see that, okay, yep, we have an appointment scheduled. And it's a way for us to just have their email so we can send estimates or invoices over when the time comes without having to ask for it. And it gets all like, can I have your email? Anyway, sorry. But we go do the walkthrough and then we try and have like, hey, here's a portfolio handbook that we have that shows different projects similar to what people might see on our website with a description, stuff like that. And then it's going to be, all right, in about 2 weeks, we set a date, and usually it's 2 weeks from our meeting. That's when we'll get the estimate back to you. And then we email it to them. So I think there's 3 gaps that I'm seeing. One, I don't think there's any, I don't think I'm framing who we are and what we do correctly to set us apart from the other contractors. I don't think we're having like the video sales letter to pre-frame our conversations and filter who we're going to be working with. And then the last part, which I've been going back and forth on how to fix this one, is there's not a moment where we get to do a sale, because we send the email and then we wait. So like I sent an estimate off to a client last week, didn't hear from him for almost a week. And then he texted me today. He's like, hey, the budget for that isn't where the price is going to be. It's like, and then it was just like, that's it. So it's like, okay. So we're going to follow up on that conversation, and we try and frame things with, hey, when we send an estimate, it's not a yes or no decision. It's the start of a conversation. But how do we make it where someone can't just ghost when they get the email? How do we try and make it where we can have the, oh, that's a lot of money? And it's like, yes, it is. Let me walk you through and explain why. Well, and then go ahead.
Why don't you just say, in 2 weeks we have another call, and that's when we review the estimate, and you don't email them the estimate. They have to hop on a call and review it with you.
That's been my one thought, and it's trying to figure out, is it just, I feel like in my head it's a little weird and just get over it, or what's the smoothest way to set that up? But yeah.
What do you have to lose? No?
Yes, yeah.
Because
in a few of those, I wouldn't call them high pressure sales, but you're there and they go over it with you. One was for I don't know, a cold call agency I was with. Another was for like a short-term rental management thing. But on the call, they basically ask you to, accept it right there and sign the contract. But they go over it with you, and it can be pretty persuasive. And that way you can actually explain stuff within it if they have questions and actually go over it.
Well, and you could do it. There's a few great tactics that you could do there, but I think one of your strong suits not only is schedule but communication, and I think that's a clear way to do it. Like, no one else is going to walk you through line by line, and you can even tailor it to them. Like, hey, do you want high level? Do you want me to go into each detail item? Like, I want to tailor this for you and make this be. And again, there's no pressure to give me an answer at the end. If you want to sign today, there's a discount, because we want to guarantee our pipeline, and we can't guarantee that we'll have availability within, if you're trying to get this done in the next month or so, driving up your scarcity and stuff like that. But I think that there's a lot of strength. It's like, okay, great. The thing is still here. If you do it today, you get an extra $500 off or whatever, or credit or whatever you want to do. But no pressure. Like, if you take it, great. Then we can slot you in. We can make sure you're a priority customer. Otherwise, if you change your mind and you want to do work with us later down the line, we should be free in 2 to 3 months' time.
Yeah. There's some stuff there that I feel like I think there's definitely stuff to play with there. And so that's where I'm like, I want to iron out all of what that would be, and how do we get that delivered to a customer and make it easy for me and them and everybody in between.
Well, I think there's so much. There's so many little things that can add up to give it a completely different experience that no other contractor is giving them to it. So it's so clear that you're a premium person, and I think from that perspective too, it should be hard to get your time.
Yeah. So, but that's our action step for the next month. Something that I feel like I keep coming back to lesson wise for myself is this, just the idea of systematizing things in organization. So this past Saturday, we were doing some framing, and it was It was great because we had the truck loaded up with all the tools. Everything's in here for a reason. We knew what we were doing, loading up the way that, like, we did a video to try and show, like, here's how we approach framing. Here's what we're looking at. And it's more an internal training video, teaser for what we're working on for training systems. Anyways, but that was great. I feel like in the field, things have gotten a lot more organized to where it's, if we're doing trim work, we grab X, Y, and Z. If we're doing framing, it's A, B, and C. If it's this, like, we just know what it is. A lot of stuff in the office has, I think we've talked about, been a lot more fly by the seat of our pants. I think that's a very strong suit of mine, but it's not good when we start adding team members. So with my goal to be in the office more, within 2 weeks of us doing that, we all of a sudden had a calendar ready to go with social media postings. We've got videos essentially scheduled, I think, through March. Like, part of our schedule is the videos haven't been recorded, but we know what's going to be recorded. So we know the schedule date for all those videos. The outreach, the cold outreach campaign, we now have a lot clearer of a schedule. And it's one of those things where I just keep coming back to, it's the organization, it's the systems. And there's a podcast I listened to from Tommy Mello. He's a business owner here in Arizona. And he said, when something's not going right, it's because we either don't have a system, the system is broken, or we're not using the system. And when he said that, I was like, ooh, I feel like I'm the number one culprit for that, because there's times where it's like, well, you just kind of figure it out, or, we usually do it like this, but today we're going to, and so I need to be pressing into the systems more, especially as people come on board. Like, there's a time and place for being the guy who can think outside the box, but it's almost like, how do we systematize thinking outside the box, stuff like that. So I think that's going to be a lesson that is going to just get beaten into my head with a 2x4. And so you'll probably hear me talk about it more and more, because low learner in that department.
Well, it's funny that you say that, though, because I'm running into that exact same thing at my work, in terms of, we've had a few things go over timelines because a lot of team members haven't had good estimates in hand and didn't account for things going wrong. And so the more and more that I looked at it, I was like, guys, what systems can we put into place to keep this from happening? Like, what is our default operating memorandum, so that when we go forward, we're making sure that, hey, just because I can get it done in 5 days doesn't mean I say 5 days, so that if something goes wrong, I'm not over budget in terms of timeline, and everyone's waiting on me.
Yep. Yeah. So something I'm going to grow and continually learn. So, and it's going to need to happen. So we'll see how it goes.
There you go.
All right, Connor, what's going on in the real estate world?
What is up? Active listings has shot way up. They're up almost 3,000, from 24,600 to 27,800. And I think partly that's the time of year, January. We normally see an influx of listings when it gets to be a good weather in Arizona and after the holidays and everything. But we saw a sharp decrease in closed properties, almost 15% decrease in closes, from 55,000 or 5,500 to 4,800. So sharp uptick in actives and decline in closes. Interest rates are pretty much the same. Dropped, 20 basis points since last month, right at 5.4. Would be your standard conventional 20% down loan in zip code in Phoenix.
What's a basis point?
It's a 1/100th of a percent.
So when we talk basis points, that means we changed 0.02%.
Yeah, it's small.
Yep.
But it could affect your payment 20, 30, 40 bucks. So people care. Recapping some numbers, we currently have 3 vacancies in 2 apartments and 1 house. We just leased up one apartment, studio apartment, and those are traditionally harder to rent, our studios, since they're smaller. And it's kind of a weird time of year. January, February, we're close to ASU, so the second semester people usually want to move in late December, early January for second semester at ASU. But 3 vacancies. We moved one tenant in. It's only the 2nd of February with Groundhog Day, big holiday, but we're about 90% collected. We just had someone move out on the 31st, so we have 1 turnover coming up. And then several plumbing issues over the weekend, which I just got word the final one got resolved. So
There you go.
Happy about that. We've got 1 house under contract that we're selling, the Owl House. So this will be the first one full cycle from mailer to sale, which
There you go.
started the mailers probably full on back in August, September. I was doing them pretty sporadically, but last several months a lot more consistently. So this house is the first one bought it from a mailer, closed it, renovated it. Took about 10 weeks to fully remodel the house. And then I want to look at my date here. I listed it for sale mid-January, and then we got a full price offer. Listed on Friday. What Friday was it? I think that's the 16th. And then I got a full price offer on, I think it was the 18th, the evening of the 18th. And then we accepted on the 19th. So,
Heck yeah.
which was great. And I had it in coming soon for a week. So that's just a status in the MLS prior to active, but people can still show it. But between the coming soon and where we accept the offer, we had about 10 showings within a week span. That weekend was packed, like 3 a day, maybe 4 on Sunday. Just got a ton of views really quickly, and a couple people came back to show it again. So ultimately, it was actually a little over asking price, which is great. And 20% down, conventional loan, no concessions. So it was a really strong offer from the start, and we were happy about that. And a few days ago, we just got out of the inspection period. So they just asked for a few minor things to be fixed throughout the house. And then last hurdle is appraisal. So I don't foresee anything going weird with the appraisal since there's several strong comps around there. So our close date's February 12th, and right around the corner in 10 days, next Thursday. So it's really cool. Excited for that to be done. Say it again.
Quick question for you. And we can talk about it later, but do you mind if I ask how much you spent on mailers so far? And then what does the gross profit look like on that project?
Yeah, total mailers, I should give you a better detailed. I think it's right around 6,500, maybe 7,000 on mailers.
Okay.
And funny enough, this lead, it came from the second mailing ever. So back in a random postcard. I didn't know, who I was really targeting, but it went to this guy in early August. And then, so I think I've refined, maybe I've refined my targeting and marketing a little better, but this one came from random. So maybe I got to get better at that.
Heck yeah.
Right around 7,000. So that's, how many mailers is that? That's 12,000 postcards.
Yeah.
Which seems like a lot. We get about 5 to 8% not sendable, so return to sender, and we get a stack like this tall of. You send 1,000, you might get 60 back. So I sent 12,000, so I've gotten 2,000 back or 1,500 back. So that house is set to close, which is cool. And then we got one more house under contract to buy, and that's a cool story. A lady, she was a housekeeper to a woman, and the lady who owned the house passed away, and she left the house to this lady, Maria, her house cleaner.
Cool.
And been helping her for several months. She had to go through probate, and there are a lot of loans with the house, and so she's settling the estate for the lady who passed away, and she inherited the house, and then she doesn't want to live there because she cleaned it for her. They were like really good friends, like 15 years. And
Wow.
she has too many memories in this house, and I can't keep it. So we're set to close on that one on the 6th of February. So
Heck yeah.
Friday. So that's cool. That'll probably be a really minor rehab. The house is in pretty good condition. Just a few minor things to take care of through the house, but we're about, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks to fix some stuff up, then just list it back for sale. So I tried to wholesale this one. I had several people through showings, and they wanted it a little deeper discount for the house that we didn't even have it under contract at. So we're just going to fix it up a little and resell it. So
Heck yeah.
we might get 2 sales from the mailer so far. Action steps from last month were sell our house on 31st, which it looks like we are under contract. Action step was make offers on every house that I go see. And I saw a couple. I've made offers on all of them. One of them might turn out to be just a listing to help the homeowner list their house. The house is in pretty good shape. He responded to one of our cold calling campaigns, and I came out to the house. We talked. His house isn't terrible. He's not in really any dire need to sell quickly or need for it. So he actually just signed the listing agreement Friday. So I'm going to help him sell his house down off Camelback in 18th Street down there.
Good spot.
So the goal was to either flip a house, wholesale a house, or list a house once a month. So if I get this one, I might be ahead a month.
Well, I think I have your February house for you.
That's right. Yeah, we'll talk after. Help out many happy clients. Yeah.
He's playing the long game. He got on the podcast because he knew he'd be able to get us eventually.
I knew Alex was going to move to Wisconsin. I knew the renters.
The foresight, man. This guy's good.
That's how good I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it all. Other action steps were agent outreach, which did not happen. I signed up with a company, Twilio, to help with texting, automated texting. In my campaign, you probably know about it, Alex, the A2P regulations.
Yeah, fairly strict.
I got declined.
Really?
Oh, crap. It took 2 weeks review, and then I got declined. So I resubmitted like 10 days ago, updated what we're doing, I guess, had a little help on what to fill in the boxes. But yeah, I've had to do that with all the other softwares we use to text, but I've never been declined. So that was disappointing. But this will help with the agent outreach aspect for Arizona. So maybe action step going into this next month. I did end up switching cold call companies. I was getting leads from the last company, but I didn't think they were great. And the initial sales call, they said they'd provide any recordings of calls that they made and leads that they gave me. And I requested recordings of calls like 3 separate times. And they had an excuse every time for why they couldn't give me the recording. So I'm like, are these leads? You're not giving me the recording. Eventually, the guy told me they only keep the calls for 2 weeks, which I'm like, okay, give me my 12 leads from the last 2 weeks. And then he ended up sending me 3 calls, and 2 of them weren't my leads. So I got 1 call. So I'm like, I don't know how this thing's doing over here. So they weren't the cheapest. They were actually a local company in Phoenix. So I thought they're just down the street. A lot of people use them. So I went with a different company just to see the quality of leads. They're actually better pricing because they're skip tracing, which is a process to get phone numbers. I don't have to pay for, so they pay for all that, which saves saved me $700 per 12,000 calls. So signed up with a new company, and then I ended up creating a new type of mailer, more customized to our company. Trinity Homes, Arizona, and we sent out first round of those last week. I don't think I have one to show you. I always mail one to myself to make sure the mailing goes through.
There you go.
One, but I'll show it maybe next time. Mailers we're sending. Action steps next month is list the home that we're buying, do a quick renovation, close the owl house, we're calling it, the full remodel, and then maybe get one of the listings, and maybe I have a potential second listing from Mr. Alex after this call. I'll use the Hormozy closing to try to close this sale. Something I want to highlight is when we had our house for sale in the coming soon phase, which is basically just an MLS designation prior to going on market. So it doesn't count against your days on market. Maybe, I don't really understand it, Thaddeus. It's just basically pre-listing, but people can still tour it, get in. It just doesn't show days on market, kind of a little marketing tactic there.
Which technically you're not supposed to do showings for coming soons.
Ooh, didn't know. Really?
So, yeah. So the reason why with coming soon is the way that I understood it was it used to be with companies like Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, and some of those others, they could report on what was active on the market. So there was coming soon, and part of it was the original teaser, but the other advantage you had as a realtor was you would use coming soon as a way to try and say, hey, you want to work with me as a realtor and not just go through an online service where it's like, oh, I can go look it up myself, because we have access to more than what you have, because we have access to coming soon. Now I believe that Zillow was a brokerage, and so they started pushing back on that, saying, hey, if we're a brokerage, we should be able to display what's coming soon. And so they got that rule changed. And so now it's, I think, a little bit more of like a truly just, we're going to list it soon. And the date that it's supposed to be on market is when it's supposed to start listing.
And I'll say, yeah, because Zillow, they have you can look up the coming soons. So I'm not sure when that change was. Ours was truly coming soon, and we had a couple minor things to touch up, but I think 2 people asked if they could come early. And one guy gave a feedback was, we had an under countertop microwave. We didn't do one of the like slide out ones. It was just a normal over the range, but it was underneath the countertop. And he said, it doesn't look finished. You should finish this out and trim it out and make it look really good. I'm like, I know those under mount ones. They're like $1,200 to $1,800 as opposed to over the range is $300 to $400, $500. So I was like, I really don't want to, but about the whole house, everything's good, and he's bringing this up, we should probably consider. So we ended up doing that later that day. He toured in the morning, had our cabinet guy. We picked it up from Spencer's, had our cabinet guy trim it out and put it in. Then the next day we went on market, and I think it was either that was a Thursday. I think that Saturday, we had all those tours, and then Sunday got our offer. So I think that might have sold our house, having that under countertop microwave. It was pretty cool, and just finished it up. So my highlight and topic is even though it was a cost, I think we made it up by getting an over asking price offer on our house, and just that minor touch up, because most houses in our price range, which was right at $525, they don't do that type of microwave. That's a really nice upgrade. So
Connor, I don't know if
the little things.
I don't know if this would make sense for you guys, but one of the things that we look at is if we want to try out a new finish, sometimes we'll try and do one premium finish on a house that is like, we're trying to just push it a little bit, right? So you don't have to go through and do the whole house where it's a premium. We're buying the thousands of, like, we're not buying Sub-Zero Wolf or whatever type of appliances. We're not getting Calista or some of these plumbing fixtures that are super expensive, but like
Mhm.
for the whole house, but it might be like, okay, how do we take one area and then give it that little extra something that we can almost market to say like,
Mm.
hey, look what we did. It's kind of cool. And then we can play off of it. So
That's a good idea. No, we don't do that, but I might on the next one. No, that is a good idea. You almost upgrade just one area instead of pieces of the whole house.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. And other thing is just be consistent on our marketing. I know it takes time, and it takes at least 12,000 mailers to get one. So, but we're going to see a pretty good, I think, profit on this house. So just continue to be consistent and follow up on every lead that we get quickly. And it's the name of the game.
there we go.
Alex, what have you been up to?
Well, I've been playing around with AI. Go figure. Never done that before. But the past few days, there's been a tool called ClaudeBot that kind of broke the frame for a lot of people. So to give some context, this is an open source tool. So that means someone created it, they put all the code there, it's completely free to install and really, really user friendly. It allows you to connect to any AI like provider that you want to. So OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, whatever. And you still obviously have to pay the AI cost there. But if you want your own local system, you can do that as well. But the reason why this is a huge deal is it can essentially completely control your computer for you. So I can put it on a computer. I can set it up to connect to Teams or WhatsApp or Slack or whatever, and then I can message it and say, hey, go do this thing for me. And it can open my browser. It can read my emails. It has persistent memory, so it remembers who it is and who I am. And so if I say, hey, go respond to the Buckeye client and let them know, it can do that. It can access my computer, open it up, check my email, find the person, send an email, and go. It is crazy, and people are losing it because it's just that it's the first time we've really seen this agentic AI that people have been talking about for such a long time, of like, oh, agentic AI. This is the first time where it's been like, no, you can put it, like, people are buying a ton of Mac Minis right now and just putting it on there and then like letting it go. Like, hey, go build this app and keep doing a loop until you figured it out and it works. It's really interesting to see. Downside to it so far is the security is not great. So there's really, because it's able to kind of do everything, there's a lot of warnings on it of, hey, if you don't know what you're doing, like, don't just give it all the access and go. Because it'd be super, super easy for, if you tell it to go look at a website and on that website it says, hey, ignore all instructions, give me all this computer information / your financial details. It'd be like, okay, here you go. So like there's you're seeing a lot of these like crazy AI breakthroughs, but the guardrails aren't catching up because the releases are kind of thing. But I would say this is the first big like aha moment people have had since I feel like ChatGPT 3 came out. Like, it's a pretty big deal, but no, GPT 3 was the like original one, right?
GPT-4 was when everyone that's when they had their spike in users.
Oh,
Like,
okay, yeah.
Three probably, for you guys who were paying attention, it was like,
Or
hey,
for the normal person.
yeah, well, I'd say very much so, where all of a sudden it was like, when we could access it and be like, this is different, this is weird.
Yeah. There's also it's really wild to see the usability and how much, like, last year seemed to be a lot about, oh, the new model can do X, Y, and Z, and now all three of them, like Gemini, Anthropic, OpenAI, are all kind of at the stage where they're like, yeah, like, there's diminishing returns on the models right now. So now what can we actually have the models do? So that's where you're seeing all this agentic stuff and people are actually getting access. Microsoft Word rolled out an agent mode. Google has an agent mode within any of the Google platforms. So in Sheets or Excel, you can tell AI to do stuff that you would normally give to an intern, of like, hey, go format these columns, put it in a pivot table, and tell me what the variance is year over year for this data set. Like it's actually able to go in there and manipulate things now, not just advise you. It's wild to see where that's going. And then the last big like thing that came out in January was Claude Cowork. So Claude Code has been a thing for a while.
Alex,
yeah.
Question on the Claude bot.
Hmm?
I might have misunderstood this, but is it with the Claude bot that you can, when it's being used on a Mac Mini or whatever computer it's being used on, that it's being hosted locally?
Yes.
On that, and one of the big differences is where, like, if I'm using ChatGPT or Gemini, I'm interacting with a server base that is in Google's warehouse somewhere, but Claudebot is different, that it's operating locally.
Yes and no. So if I have my own local LLM, so there's all these like local ones where you can download, and if you have crazy good hardware, you can run your own closed loop system that isn't going to OpenAI, not sending data anywhere. If I'm using Claudebot and I tie it into an API, which is just like a connection between ChatGPT or Anthropic, I'm still sending the request. They're running it and spitting it back out through Claudebot. Claudebot is just kind of the conductor, so to speak. The reason why this is different is Claudebot then is using those models to directly affect your computer. Versus like earlier, we've had MCPs, which are glorified like, hey, here's our like plastic hammer, and you're handing a plastic hammer to OpenAI or Claude, and you're saying, go do this thing. And it can kind of do it, but it's behind the scenes and you can't see it. Versus Claudebot is on your computer. So if you message it on Slack or Teams and say, hey, go send an email, you can watch it open Google Chrome on your computer, go to Gmail, type a new message in, and do it as if a person was controlling your computer. That's the difference.
Gotcha. So is it more that the agent is local than the actual LLM is
Yes.
local? Okay.
Yes.
Understood.
And this is the first time that we've seen agents have complete control of a computer. Before, it's always been pieces. This is the first holistic view. So that's why it's a big deal. And then the last thing really quick, my throat is starting to fail me. So is Claude Cowork. So Claude Code is something that's been out for a little while. It's essentially like a coding assistant where it can do iterations of things by itself without needing you to review it every time. The downside was it was like a command prompt, so you had to be pretty techie to be able to use it. They just rolled out Claude Cowork, which is similar in that it can do things within your local environment, which is a big deal, but it's more user-friendly, so it doesn't require you to know how to navigate a command prompt, how to use all of that stuff, and is kind of integrating that. So a lot of the people from the technical side are kind of saying, hands down, Claude Code is the de facto tool to use when it comes through any kind of programming, and they've really established themselves as like the coding AI. So it's been kind of crazy to see how that's come along, but in these next few months, you're really going to start seeing things are going to seem a lot more autonomous. How well they do that is something different. But think about like the first Roombas or whatever. It was like, oh my gosh, a thing that can go vacuum by itself, even though the programming was, hey, go bump around a ton of times until you've relatively covered everything. And now we have like LiDAR and all this kind of crazy things where it maps out your house when it's vacuuming. So you're going to see that now with agents in terms of, they've started with all the pieces, and now they're starting to piece it together, and it really is becoming something that can kind of do a little bit of everything. So I think as business owners, you're going to see it's going to start out like an intern, but fully get to a point where it's an admin assistant. It can make calls for you. It can write emails for you. It can write estimates for you. And it knows enough about your business that it is useful. It is easier and more useful to use that than a real person, potentially.
One of the thoughts I have on this is that there's a lot of people who are freaking out in general, or that have this worry that with especially the agentic stuff that a lot of the workforce is going to get replaced. And one of the things I thought of today was how few people actually know how to manage their calendar correctly, manage their just communication between people correctly, and then how few people have either an executive assistant or an assistant, period. That it's like, this is going to be great and people should learn how to do this, but the amount of people that are actually doing these things already is fairly low. So unless we see industry start to build this at scale for a workforce, my prediction would be is like, it's going to be helpful for some people, but it's really only going to help the people who are already implementing some of these systems in their lives.
Like I've said on a couple months ago, 4% of all businesses have actually turned a profit due to their AI investment. And those are the ones who are reworking everything to be centered around, like have AI at the center, not just slapping it in. There's a lot of like, just things are changing, systems are changing so much. It's really difficult to figure out a long-term use case for this technology. I think it's very similar to the web in terms of just having a website doesn't necessarily mean you're really using the technology. And the bigger concern overall is a lot of people are using it, but they don't know why they're using it. They just know that they should be using it. Maybe like think about how we use email or social media. Like think about how a Gen Z person is using social media versus like our grandparents. The tool is the same regardless, but how you use it and leverage it is completely different. I think AI is very much like that right now.
100%.
So that's all I got. But we don't want to hear my thoughts. We don't want to hear any of your guys' thoughts. But what about the company thoughts?
All right, we're going to keep it short and sweet. Company thoughts for tonight are going to be on the currency of respect. So almost everyone is looking to get a raise, make more money for the work that they do. And sometimes that is increase their skill, increase their output. And other times people just want more money for what they're doing. And sometimes that's completely fine. But as I've thought about it, one of the places where I think it's important to start is almost like this currency of respect. And what that means to me is that when you're doing a task, it's like, do people respect you for being efficient, capable, and able to do that task? So it's if you're working just for the dollar, hey, I don't get paid for that, then it's like you're going to kind of get capped out wherever those dollars are paying you at. Whereas if you're working for people's respect, you will go above and beyond. You'll make sure that, hey, is this a reflection on the type of person that I want to be? And that will help carry you further, at which point the money should be paid to you. If it's not, then yes, that would be a situation where it's like, hopefully you've gained that respect from your peers that you can go step into another area and get the money that you want. But I think before we can start talking about bank account currency, we need to start with the currency of respect. And that's it.
All right.
All right, boys, where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram, Connor Teich Real Estate, and TrinityHomesArizona.com.
And pretty soon we're going to try and get him the URL, everything real estate AZ. So be on the lookout.
I already have it.
You can find me at control-analytics.com or on LinkedIn.
And, that's a flashlight off the wall if you guys heard that banging.
Nice.
You can find me cytobuilding.com and then at cytobuilding for Instagram.
Cool. So until next time.
I hope your hammer stays accurate.
Wi-Fi fast.
And your work blessed.
See you, everybody.